Talking now. All right, hi, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kurt Ranowski, publisher of Yankee T News, young, up-and-coming publishing powerhouse that will be someday, from the Parkway Diner in Stamford, Connecticut, on this Monday, February 10th, the year of our Lord 2025.
Subscribe.
Oh, all right, yeah, thanks.
Hit the ding bell.
Yeah, where
subscribe.
is it? The ding bell there, or you got to edit it in the ding bell?
No, the ding bell's there.
All right, good. All right, so good. Okay, so this week, oh my God. All right, first, so he had, yes, well, visit, like, subscribe, our website. I just want to remind you, okay, also here, this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. I thought I'd do this. How well these, can you see it? Okay, so those are our subjects. Stick around. I think the one that's interesting is at the end about the Canadian students, but Tina Peters is also important. Also, by way of introduction, I'm still trying to work on this. I don't have quite the presentation, but I wanted to show it to you. All right, the Ukraine-Russian conflict, I boiled down to 4 boxes, okay, like this. So you got death, to the death, you got a peaceful settlement, you have Ukraine wins, and you have Russia wins. But what to put in those boxes? Is it rare metals? Is it a safety zone? Is it UN involvement? Is it greater involvement by NATO? Is it the interdiction of other troops? Who knows what the answer is, but I wanted to show it to you. Okay, tell Tong Time. Hey, Attorney Confederate General Tong, lash out all you want. You're done. Yeah, just a matter of time. You are done. And I want you to mention Tina Peters. Look, Tina Peters is a national resource. She is a heroine, okay? She is holding up as best she can in that prison in Colorado. But, yeah. So there are 2 people now that I've found who have taken up her cause, who have been supporting her. One is David Clements, who's been heavily involved in election fraud issues, and of course Mike Lindell. So both of them now are, sounding their megaphones on behalf of Tina. And I would just throw in our voice as well, okay? TinaPeters.us, go there, read what she has, understand that she still has the critical information that's going to put a lot of people in jail, so they have every reason to worry, and we need to get her out of there, all right? Okay, the theme is the time to destroy comes near. Now, I found it interesting as I was driving in, I caught the beginning of Jesse Kelly's show, and he was basically addressing the same issue, which is that the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, the communists, all these underhanded people are not going to sit around. They are going to push back, all right? So my reaction, of course, is sure they're going to push back, but how are they going to push back, and to what degree? And I'll have to tell you that I'm of the opinion that they're going to push back in a way that is very destructive, all right? So the promo newsletter, which we have up, do you have a link for this, Eric? Somewhere?
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's in the description.
All right, okay. So I'll just cut to the chase here with this. What you have here are people who have been found out. They know that if this continues, the jig is up, so they're doing everything they can to divert people's attention away from that and trying to say, oh, you're breaking the law, it's unconstitutional, none of which is true or correct, by the way. What you have now is a situation where as the pressure on the evildoers increases, more and more they're going to act like a wounded animal that has been cornered. They are going to become very vicious. And I need to remind you folks of one other important point. These cornered animals are experienced and capable. They know how the system works, which means they also know how to destroy the system. And if their existence is at stake, you can count on them to find ways to destroy the system. So unless there's some way in which we can get in there and stop them quick, it's going to be a real problem, and that's putting it mildly. So that's my theme for the night. Meantime, let's deal with the hot one, okay? The hot one. Go ahead. Thanks, Elder. That's okay. Okay, so, all right, what I find interesting is I'm finding a number of articles where the way I describe it is Ukraine and Russia. What we have right now is the maneuvering phase. You have Zelensky and Putin trying to jockey for position in the run-up to the talks, and they say things. All right, so Zelensky, you know, he wants protection. He wants guarantees, okay? The Russians, on the other hand, say there's nothing to discuss. Our demands will be met or forget it. So those are the opening gambits. I'm sure that President Trump has seen this kind of stuff before. Remember, he did write a book called The Art of the Deal. And, you know, at first Zelensky was complaining because Trump was just talking to Putin, and so he felt like he was being left out. But no, that's not how it works. You talk to each of them individually, and then he begins to synthesize something that can turn into peace talks. So it's still not clear if this is going to happen anytime soon, but you can see that it's getting started. And so at least thank God for that. Now, the next thing I want to get to, and this is the other big one, okay, was, how do I want to say this? Okay, 18 wackadoodle, misguided, liberal, Democrat attorneys generals got together and filed a suit in the Southern District of New York before one Judge Engelmeyer, is that his name?
Engelmeyer.
Engelmeyer, yes, that's it, Engelmeyer. Okay, an Obama appointee, by the way. And this is the part that gets me. Since when do you have a hearing of any kind where the defendant, of all people, is not present in order to make his case against the plaintiff? Where? Anyway, it has a name. It's called ex parte.
Ex post facto.
No, that's not the same. Okay, ex parte. You got to be kidding me. All right, so maybe he could get away with it under the rubric of a temporary restraining order, but no, this is not justice. This is not the American legal system when the defendant can't be there. It's ridiculous. Anyway, this is what's happened, and this is where we find ourselves. And the other part is, just to make the point, is that the Constitution is very clear. The president is the chief executive officer of the, wait for it, executive branch. And I believe that includes all his agencies. So it's a violation of the separation of powers to have a judge attempting to interfere with what is clearly a constitutional provision for the President of the United States. Okay, but there we are, and the President is playing along, so he's put out an emergency appeal to stop this. Hopefully this will all come to a head by Friday, but there you go. All right, so there's that. We have a bunch of links. Go look at it. Next, I want to just touch on Gaza. So Eric and I were having a debate about this earlier. Let's just start with the first rationale, all right? You've got this place that has been a hellhole for decades, okay? And you've got both sides accusing each other of all kinds of bad things, okay? You have debates, yes, over the right of return. I will say personally, I find it interesting that you have a lot of the people who live in Palestine, in Gaza, who still have the keys to the homes that they were chased out of when Israel was founded, okay? There should be more discussion about that. Nonetheless, there has been untold violence, destruction. These people cannot bring themselves to create a better life for themselves, all right? There is a reason, all right, that's been said time and again. There's a reason that Jordan won't take them, Egypt won't take them, Lebanon won't take them. Who am I missing? Saudi Arabia won't take them. None of the other Gulf states will take them, all right? It's because you can say that there are different kinds of people inclined to terrorism, but the people living in Gaza have clearly become so dysfunctional, so toxic as a community that there's no way you could expect them to integrate into any other society or community. And I would look at, these are just my opinions. I'm not an expert, but anything where you can, quote, get more people out of Gaza and hopefully get them resettled some other place, this is a good thing. But you still have an extremely large number of them who still have hopes and dreams for a Palestinian state. So that's not going away. And, Trump is going to have to put together some kind of deal among all these other states that could somehow dial down all the violence there. So we are waiting. Meantime, the fact that Doge has found so much wrongdoing, and it's just mind-bending. This is part of what, okay, just to mention Eric, the second part, I would like to talk with Alan about this because he's been doing some homework too. I'll call them clawbacks. Okay, the clawback subject. Okay, it's popped up here and there with a few situations, but it's going to become a concept that I think will be implemented on a much bigger level because you have so much wrongdoing, you have so much fraud and corruption to begin with. So why not talk about clawing back this money, okay? And if the people who've taken it have spent it on an illicit basis, yeah, jail sounds pretty good to me, okay? Now, so there, again, several links. Go check them out. And just here, this is hard to see, but I'm going to put it up here. So Elon Musk came up with this chart. Tell me what I'm doing here, Eric. How's that? Is that pretty good?
Bring it up a little bit.
Up. Okay, more.
That's good there. Right
All right, so grab a screenshot of that, folks, okay? And you will see here that based upon initial considerations, the Treasury, for example, is the biggest one, estimated to have almost 24% of its budget being used in a fraudulent or wasteful fashion. And by the way, Treasury is the biggest, okay? It is the biggest one, and it has the most waste. Now, the next one is curious, is labor, okay? They've been fighting access, yet somehow it's been determined that almost 12% of their money is used in a fraudulent and wasteful way. And then, so you have a bunch that are in the 8 to 10% range: veteran affairs, agricultural, health and human services, education, and then it drops down from there. Defense, 2%. I'm not sure about that. I think we're going to find bigger numbers than just 2%, all right? But it establishes that there's some basis here for taking a look at this, despite the lawsuit, okay? And I'm just going to bring up one example that somebody tackled. Her name is Samantha Powers. You have seen her from time to time, and she was the head of USAID for a time, I believe, in the Biden administration. And in that time, her net worth rocketed from around $7.6 million to $30 million on a $180,000 salary. So we would like to know how you did that. Also, a major beneficiary of USAID largesse is, what is Hillary's Clinton's daughter's name again? Chelsea. Chelsea Clinton, yes. Chelsea Clinton apparently has realized tens of millions of dollars from USAID. We would love to know more about that. Okay. Meantime, so here, on this next story, I just want to make this point. We are truly in a transition phase here, okay? Top down, okay? You have the people that Trump has tagged to be appointed in these various positions. Hurry up, get Kash Patel approved. We have to get down to business. And, but from the bottom up, you still have people who are fighting it. They're being insubordinate. They're still pulling sneaky crap, all right? So, for example, we found out that even as Trump has made a big deal out of what FEMA is doing, somebody within FEMA sent $53 million to pay for illegal aliens housed in luxury hotels in New York City. So, as far as I'm concerned, claw that back too, okay? So, that backdrop, okay, Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem has pointed out or has suggested or has accused the FBI of leaking information about ICE raids. So again, you have people who are being insubordinate within the system. They have to be found out, and they have to be punished. Punished, I say. Okay, now, by the way, it's a supply and demand thing. I think you can understand this. If you stop making something that people use, demand for it will go up, and hence the price. So stop. The way to make pennies worth more is to stop making them. So that's what President Trump has called for. We're going to stop minting pennies. I would suggest this is a temporary measure. There are all kinds of arguments over taking pennies out. But right now, if we're not going to make pennies, those pennies are going to start to become valuable. So that's right. Hold on to your pennies. All right. So what was the other? There was a couple other things here. What were they? Okay. Again, all right. So I put in a link. David Clements did an interview with Tina Peters. It's from a couple weeks ago, but I consider it current because not a lot of information is coming out about Tina, and more should be. All right. So then I'm going to close with go to the link that I have. Canadian students singing the communist anthem. That's right. If you go to that link there, Radio Genoa, on X, you'll hear the joyous singing of the Internationale. I mean, it's supposed to be socialist, but come on, that's communist. So, yep, our friends at the North ain't so friendly after all, just saying. All right, and on that happy note, we'll stop here, and we'll be checking in later on other things. All right, bye.